bang, 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 bang. The Yankees lose. Mets win game one and look for the series dub in their first matchup against the team in the Bronx and the New York Yankees. 6-3 is their final. Edwin Sugar Diaz with the 4-out save. The bats came out with the juice balls per usual in these big televised games against these Yanks. The Mets got the job done. Let's spam those W's in the chat right at me now, folks. Let's get it going. Big win. Big win. You needed that. Mets were giving up runs early. It didn't matter. They got it right back. This team, electric. Big win. So pumped up. We got to deep dive it all. Let's get those dubs. Mets, if they win tomorrow, they are the best team in New York. I saw Yankees fans before the game even started saying, oh, this is Mets fans World Series. If this is your way of coping, knowing your ass is going to lose, then so be it. I mean, hey, everyone else has different types of way of going about it, I guess. I love these Subway Series matchups. They're absolutely electric. You saw Citi Field today, over 42,000 strong, folks. I will be in attendance for Mad Max versus that abuser and Herman. I cannot wait. I hope the Mets get this series dub tomorrow. Let's get those dubs in the chat right effing now. That's what I gotta see. Get that hype in there right now. We'll be going over everything that you need to know on the latest Mets day. I can't even speak right now. On the latest Mets win. 6-3 is your final. Over, yes, that being in the New York Yankees. So many positives from this game. Honestly, very little negatives. Taijuan Walker didn't have it today, but he still shoved. He still gave the Mets 6 strong, and that is what you need. This is an improved Ty. This shows me early on, at least, that this is not a Jekyll and Hyde year for Ty. He was able to combat things even while giving up back-to-back bombs to start off this game. This man was still on base. He got in there. The Mets are now 51-5 when they score at least 4 runs in a game, guys. That's over 90%. Shout out my co-host on the Bleav in Queens podcast, Joe, for throwing out that stat my way. You're 1,000% right. Also, shout out to Anthony Recker, who is now our third and final co-host on the Bleav in Queens podcast. Make sure to check it out earlier today and wherever you get your podcasts as well, folks. But I want to know, what is everyone's initial reaction to this massive, and I truly mean massive, game one dub of a 2-game set? The Mets face the Yanks again later in August, I believe, in the Bronx. This feels juicy. This feels good. We all knew the hype going from last year, especially with Francisco Lindor hitting a multitude of bombs that we saw when the Mets ended up winning. That I'm pretty sure, did the Mets win more games against the Yanks last year? I think that the Mets won the overall year series against them between the 4 games as a whole, guys. But I'm breaking a sweat. We got so much to tune in. My face is red. You know I'm always hyped up. We got the donos in the chat. I'll be addressing them soon. I'm sweating bullets. Guys, I love Citi Field so much. You guys ball out. Even when it wasn't the Yankees series, you come out for the Padres series. It looks absolutely electric, guys. I still haven't even been at Citi Field yet this year because how hectic my schedule has been. Tomorrow is the day. Finally, Wardy will be in attendance. If the Mets lose, I'm clearly the reason why, so I'm telling you in advance, I apologize. But we got Mad Max. We got Domingo Herman on the bump tomorrow. That's going to be something special, hopefully in the Mets' favor. I'm electric. I don't have any caffeine in me, but that ain't stopping me from ranting about this Mets win. So let's get them dubs in there. Let's get it in the chat. Let's go. Biggest thing, biggest takeaway right away. I'm not here to make battles. I have so many friends and phenomenal fellow content creators that are Yankees fans. Wish them all the best. But it just cracks me up because all these Yankees fans were literally trying to come up with ways of coping prior to the series beginning that, oh, if we lose, it doesn't matter, things like that. And of course, I'm not even going to lie. I was a little annoyed that Giancarlo Stanton was out with injury. And of course, he's injured. There's nothing you can do about it. I know that he's ducking Lindor. He doesn't want that smoke. But if I'm being honest here, I was bummed about it because I know that will be one of the first things that Yankees fans decide to jump on should they have a lack of offense in this series. I want to see a fully healthy Yankees lineup, all things considered. I want to see these two teams duke it out. But regardless, with Giancarlo being out for this series, the Mets were able to take advantage. And they, again, were getting these runs often, guys. So let's just deep dive in this game. Then we'll get into the donations, all that fun stuff. But guys, we're getting close to already 17K subs on the channel. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button for the most viewed, most consistent YouTube channel for all the Mets here, not directly affiliated with the Mets or SNY. We're number 1 in only a 1.5 span because of you guys, the viewers, all you amazing viewers. To my upwards of 600 live viewers, thank you guys so much for chiming in right now. I'm feeling lit. I know you guys are too. But let's deep dive this game now, shall we, after I ranted for the first 5+ minutes. Because the Mets, look, the game started and the juice balls were in effect, right? We saw Taijuan didn't have it early. We saw Monty didn't have it early. I guess I'm not surprised that Monty didn't have it because this guy has an over 70 array and 3 starts against the Mets, had a 90 array in his 2 starts against the Mets last year. So I had a feeling that the Mets could jump on Monty here, even with him being a southpaw. They surely did. But prior to that, Aaron Judge, who almost has 40 bombs on the year already, he took the early MLB lead with RBIs today as he got himself a no-doubt solo bomb. Anthony Rizzo, they go back-to-back with solo bombs, and just like that, in the top of the first, the Mets find themselves already in a little bit of a hole, down 2-0. But again, the juice baseballs, it's nationally televised. I like the Mets' chances of the balls coming out tonight, folks, and don't get those words twisted. You know what I'm saying. We get to the bottom of the first, and the Mets tack on early. Starling Marte rips an absolute piss missile, no doubter, to the left side. That gives the Mets down by only a run. Francisco Lindor, and what do I love so much about Francisco Lindor, folks? Even when he has been inconsistent, he jumps up. He steps up in the biggest matchups for the Mets. Whether it's Subway Series, whether it's against the Braves, the games that honestly mean the most to this team when it comes to either rivalry-based or a crosstown rival in the Yanks. Lindor is just always clutching up. He had another strong day at the plate. Started there with a nice double after that Marte home run that you saw there in the first, guys. Pete Alonso with an RBI double. Why? Because of course he does. Big Meat Pete, who struggled heading in the All-Star break, who finally broke out in the Mets' 8-5 victory with a 3-run piss missile against the Padres in that series finale. Pete went 3 for 3 tonight. That's why he's in Wardy's top 5. How could he not be? He had a really, really good game as well. Just like that, the Mets tie the game, and before the inning even ends, folks, we saw, in case you guys didn't see, prior to the game, there was a clip of Eduardo Escobar meeting up with a young fan on the field. Escobar said that I'm going to hit a home run for you tonight with this bat. I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines. And he said that if I hit a home run, I would give you this bat. What does Escobar do? He hits a 2-run dick shot. Gives the Mets the 4-2 lead all the way there in the first. And guys, for the first time in Mets history, they and the opposing team combined have totaled 4 home runs in the first inning. It's never happened in the Mets' 60-year existence. However, in the special Subway Series with the juice baseballs, can't tell me otherwise. Those balls are 1,000% juice. Pitch location, even when it is off, it's still flying out farther than it should, it feels like. Other than that, Anthony Rizzo 3-0 pitch that he took and just fell short in the warning track for him able to get out of the inning later on that I'll get to here shortly. But Mets already up with a 4-2 lead, taking advantage. And what do we know so well about the Mets, guys? It's time and time again with this team. When the Mets are in a spot where they score within the first, second, third inning, you love the chances of them winning a ball game, and that held true again today. When you're 51-5 on the year, when you score 4+ runs, I like your chances of winning a ball game, and that was full-fledged right before our eyes early in this one. We advance forward, folks, to the second inning. Yanks get 2 singles. IKF gets picked off at first base because Taijuan Walker has honestly one of the most underrated and one of the fastest pickoff moves as a right-hand starting pitcher to first. Alonso with the beautiful tag. That gets him out. And thankfully, Ty catches a comebacker notch on probably, he looked like a bad mofo. Caught a comebacker. I forgot which Yankee hit it. But honestly, it looks like if you slowed it down, if you put some, if you made the visuals black and white, put some, glasses on it, it looked like a dope meme. Like, this guy just looked like an absolute stud, snagging that bad boy like ever. He's like, oh, that's going to end the inning. There you go. He struts off with the nice little hairdo he's got going on now. The Mets then head, folks, to the top of the third. Aaron Judge is Taijuan Walker's first strikeout of the day after, of course, he hit that solo bomb off of Taijuan Walker earlier in this one. Anthony Rizzo, how you doing? He gets himself a base knock. Had a good game for the Yanks, just not good enough in the end, right? Torres with a hit by pitch, and that was a frustrating one as well. Ty got a little up and in. Thankfully, Torres was okay. He stayed in the game. And then Carpenter striked out, who, again, I talked about in my podcast with, of course, that being in Joe Sorrell and Anthony Recker earlier today, here and wherever you get your podcast, that 3 guys stand out to me in this series. And this was prior to Giancarlo Stanton's status saying he would be out with IL. You had Aaron Judge, you had Giancarlo Stanton, you had Matt Carpenter. And thankfully, Carpenter wasn't an issue for the Mets in this game. We'll see if that changes tomorrow against Mad Max Scherzer or not. But then we get, folks, to the bottom of the third. Starling Marte gets himself a double, his second extra base hit of the game. And, folks, and we're only 3 innings into this one. You get Francisco Lindor gets hit legging down an infield single, folks, down the first baseline. Gets hit right on the top of the helmet. Thank God he had the helmet on, right? So Lindor, self-awareness with the base pad. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Lindor was going to get picked off at first in that series against Chicago pre-All-Star break, but instead was able to dive around him and get Marte to score, and Lindor got in his second. That's what happened here. Lindor probably should have been out, but because he got the hit on the head, they kept running. Lindor got in second base. Marte scored. That increased the Mets' lead 5-2 at that point. Great situational base running by both guys here. Thankfully, again, Lindor is okay. I see the donations in the chat as well. Thank you guys so much for that, as we are ranting about this big 6-3 game one of a 2-game set Subway Series W for the New York Mets over the New York Yankees. Smash that like and subscribe on, folks. We're trying to get 300 plus likes by the end of the live show. Greatly appreciate my over 600 viewers. But as we advance forward into this one, guys, but then we have Alonso gets a walk. Monty exits to the game. Guys, you saw Jordan Montgomery only go 2.1 innings pitched. This guy's an absolute bum against the Mets. Seriously, his ERA probably total in 4 starts against the Mets has to be upwards of 10 now. He's been god-awful. 2.1 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs. And what I honestly found even more hilarious, 71 pitches, is that Monty, in 19 starts entering today's game for the Yanks, only has a measly 3 wins when he's been a rock-solid starter in the middle of that rotation for the Yankees. However, they've given him the DeGrom treatment. So the one day the Yanks give Monty early runs, they can't do anything with it. The offense cannot stay clutch throughout it, and the Mets bats just grind him out. And again, give credit where credit's due. The Yankees bullpen really clutched up for the remainder of the game. They threw the Mets' hairs off and they got in a rhythm, but thankfully the Mets pitching stayed afloat as well, even when they dealt with some jams. So the Mets did not score any more runs in that inning. We get to the 4th, folks, and the Yanks have bases juiced with 1 out, and that was thanks to some bad decision making. It wasn't a terrible decision, but Eddie Escobar at third base threw to McNeil, trying to get the force out there at second. Didn't happen. It was a nice slide there by IKF. That's what he's known for. He's known for the speed. He's known for the base running. Has that grittiness to his game that, honestly, as a Mets fan, knowing how well the Mets are on the base pass and legging things out at first, I can appreciate. So I definitely understood that one. However, after that situation happens, DJ LeMahieu gets an RBI ground out, brings in a run. It's 5-3. Aaron Judge walks. It's bases juiced, 2 outs. Anthony Rizzo, a 3-out count. He got 7 straight balls were thrown by Ty between his at-bat for Judge and then for Rizzo. Rizzo sitting on a heater that he knows he's going to get because, again, if it's a walk, then another run comes in, and just like that's a 1-run ball game. Rizzo, however, did not get enough. He's going for deep dead center. It falls short on the warning track. Brennan Nemo looking back on the wall. He makes the catch. Thankfully, the baseballs were not too juiced in that moment, and the Mets get out of that bases load jam. Taijuan Walker, say what you will, he might have not had his stuff tonight, but he was a bulldog. And to say I'm confident in this man going forward is such an understatement. To go 6 strong, 3 earned runs when you didn't have your stuff, when your splitty was not hitting the way that you wanted to, your fastball was not hitting great. He only had 2 strikeouts on the night. I mean, Ty, 3 strikeouts, pardon me, not 2. I knew I had 1 number run. He gave up 2 home runs, if you see through Baseball Savant, but he had 3 strikeouts. So my apologies for that one type of mishap there. I always have 1 number run, and if I don't, then it's honestly a surprise at this point. But we go forward now in the game. We pass the 4th, we advance a couple, nothing happens between both teams. In the 7th inning, guys, Jeff McNeil, who struggled at the plate, who entering the 8th inning that we will get to shortly, 0 for 19, not having a good day at all. I didn't expect Jeff to do well. He didn't have a good matchup against Monty. Doesn't have good numbers. Hasn't had great numbers at times that we've seen, especially pre-All-Star break, heading into post-All-Star break now. Jeff, however, with the defense, might not be McHits in the 7th, but surely was McDefense. Turns a beautiful play to get the force out there on first, which really what would have been an infield single. Beautiful throw, really off-angle, mid-air body throw. It was it was just a phenomenal go-glove play by McNeil. A phenomenal pick at first that you saw there by Pete Alonso to get the out there. Rizzo would have hit by pitch, and then he was thrown out on a double steal attempt. Aaron Judge went to third. Rizzo, however, gunned down by Tomas Nido. Nido not known for the bat, known for the defense with great framing. And with that clutch arm behind the plate, they review it. However, because Rizzo could not keep his feet on the bag as he slid, thankfully the tag stuck on by, I believe that was Lindor, if I'm not mistaken. The Mets get the out there, and they get out of that inning unscathed, folks. And that was absolutely massive for a Mets team. For Adam Ottavino as well, I have to give a huge tip of the cap. He's not in my top 5, but you could rightfully argue. Nasty Adam Ottavino This guy who struggled in high leverage situations, who struggled in big games, big matchups, rivalry games, Yanks, Red Sox, from both sides, he struggled right down the stretch, especially as a setup man, or that we saw here in the 7th now. I love him in the 7th role, and he absolutely thrived for the Mets. 1.2 scoreless innings for the Amazons against his former team in the Yanks. Gave up only 1 hit, 1 walk, 0 strikeouts, not a problem. Adam Ottavino has a 2.35 ERA on the year, and something that I feel no one is talking about regarding Adam Ottavino, guys. When he entered the year with the Mets, when the Mets signed him, I love the deal. This guy has filthy stuff, even in his late 30s. However, his biggest issue is his control. He was in the low percentiles, I think in the worst 5 of all baseball last season with his control. This year, he's above average. So give credit Jeremy Hefner, give credit Adam Ottavino, his age 38 season, to get his control down and to be a massive guy in this Mets bullpen. Easily one of the most reliable. That is not named someone like Edwin Diaz among a few others. So shout out to Adam. Phenomenal, folks. But we get there now to the 8th inning, and this is where magic starts to happen. Francisco Effing Lindor with his 2nd hit of the day after getting himself a nice base knock the first time with that double, and then really legging one out. Again, it hit him on the head, and they was riding the bases. He was able to get a nice infield single for the Mets, and now a clutch up for them because Pete Alonso with a dead center base knock, his 3rd of the day, his 3rd base knock of the day, as a matter of fact. Daniel Vogelbach comes in to pinch hit. However, Abreu comes in as a reliever for the Yanks. He's throwing a hundo on the gun like no tomorrow. Unfortunately, Vogelbach strikes out. It catches in the foul tip, caught, strikeout. Not mad. However, again, Vogie, when you're coming off cold off the bench and you're literally seeing a hundo like that, like a 90 changeup, it's not easy to do. So I understood that 1,000%. Eduardo Escobar strikes out as well. So the Mets with a 2-out situation, multiple guys on. The Mets, who have built this offense throughout the first couple months of the year of being a 2-out clutch RBI team, one of the best teams in baseball with runners in scoring position. However, they've been a little Jekyll and Hyde the past month and a half to 2 months. Not on that consistent wavelength as we saw in the months of April and May. However, Jeff McNeil entered this at bat over his last 19, slaps one for a beautiful opposite field RBI single to increase the Mets lead 6-3 at that point, folks. Edwin Diaz, who came in the 8th to get the final out, a big strikeout on I'm trying to remember, it was on Joey Gallo, yes. Then we get to the 9th inning. And again, this was a little bit of a heart attack. We know that situation. Trevino gets himself an infield single. Diaz gets 1 out. Then Diaz, who looks like he has a short double play opportunity with Aaron Judge, a little dribbler comes back to him, mishandles the ball, and kind of hits the ball off of his leg, trying to throw to second. Runners are safe, but only 1 out. However, back-to-back strikeouts for Sugar Diaz, who's striking out more than double the batters he's seen at this rate, K per 9 on the year. He gets another save. Edwin Diaz with a 1.55 ERA on the year. Taijuan Walker with a 2.67 ERA on the year. This team is electric. Big win for them, and I do not give a rat's ass whatsoever for any Yanks fans that thinks I'm overreacting. One, I've been screaming about Mets wins literally since the beginning of the season. So if you're going to be a schmuck and either come in the chat right now or in the comments and say, whoa, why you look like a tomato head? I always look like a tomato head. It doesn't matter if you're beating the Yanks or the Marlins. I'm going to be screaming about it because I love Mets wins. That's what we do. When the Mets are on pace for 100 wins this year, I'm going to feel electric after most wins. But especially Subway Series because, again, they come so few and far between. We love the rivalry. You know, you have fans going back and forth being toxic on social media as ever. Then you have the more, fans that are more, I shouldn't say consistent, but, more understanding, under the same wavelength. This was a big game. Mets take round 1. Hopefully they take round 2 tomorrow, which I'll be in attendance. But a big, absolutely massive dub for the Mets here in game 1 of the 2-game set, folks. And as we look through this entire Mets lineup, actually, before we get to the Mets lineup, let's talk about Wardy's top 5. You see it in the chat. We see the donos in the chat. We will be addressing them soon, I assure you. Then we'll get more comments, questions, and concerns, guys. We may take some callers tonight, too. We're feeling nice. We'll see. Long day tomorrow. Again, guys, I'll be in attendance. So tomorrow I'll either have a quick game recap after the game, or I might even live stream on my phone driving home, in which my girlfriend will probably hold the phone so that way you guys can see me while I'm focusing on the road and screaming my head off. Either way, we'll make some type of content happen more than likely. Bill Wardy's top 5 on the night. A lot of good options here. But for me personally, I got to go with Starling Marte. Marte balled out huge tonight for the Mets when he got 2 extra base hits. When he get that solo bomb to start things off, to get the runs flowing early on there in the first, we take that to the bank. With the double, the 2 runs scored, and the RBI, the great base running that we've seen from Marte time and time again. That is how he gets in Wardy's top 5. My number 2 start, Eddie Escobombs, 1 for 4 with the bomb that he promised the little kid pregame himself. If I hit a home run, you're going to get the bat. What did he do? He hit a 2-run dick shot, and the Mets got that 4-2 lead there in the first, and it wouldn't be the last runs they scored in the game. Escobar, he's been swinging the bat a little bit better. We need that, especially with the Mets looking like they're going to add bats any day now. Whether it's a Trey Mancini, a Wilson Contreras, someone along that wavelength, we don't know how much playing time Escobar may have going forward if the Mets do add another bat like a Brandon Drury at third base, potentially. So Eddie needs to ball out now more than ever, lean up to the trade deadline to prove his worth on this roster. He certainly helped his cause tonight, going 1 for 4 with that big 2-run bomb. Pete Alonso, who again, stepping up in a big matchup against the Yanks. I will take that to the bank any and every single day of the week. 3 for 3 with the double, the runs scored, and the RBI. Edwin Diaz, you could even had him higher. I had him here at number 4, but Edwin, without a problem, even with a jam he had that he himself created in the 9th. 4-out save. Why? Because that is Sugar Diaz. You hear that trumpets? Yeah, that's kind of the best reliever in baseball right now, and you're a schmuck if you think otherwise. My number 5 star, 5th and final, is Jeff McNeil, breaking that 0 for 19 skid. Phenomenal with Gold Glove defense on display tonight, capping off with that massive 2-out RBI oppo single there in the 8th to give the Mets that crucial insurance run to increase the lead at that point, 6-3. That's my Warriors top 5. When you look at the Mets lineup as a whole, Brennan Nimmo had a rough day, 0 for 4. Only 1 strikeout. That one had some nice defense. We advanced forward. We talked about Lindor, Alonso, Canna 0 for 3 as well. I think Canna's going to have a good day against Herman tomorrow. I really do. I think he's going to do well in that matchup versus what we saw today. Vogelback 0 for 1 with the pinch hit. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Jeff McNeil talking about him. JD Davis 0 for 3. JD Davis, I'm sorry, JD, nothing personal. I can't keep seeing this man. I can't. It's driving me nuts. JD, if he is still on this Mets roster post-trade deadline, I will not only be baffled, but I will be disgruntled. It's frustrating as all hell. This guy has been the lack of consistent. I mean, he is the same wavelength as Dom Smith. They're no different. Just your right-handed or your left-handed. What did JD do this year? He had 1 ball-out game. 5 RBIs on a grand salami against the Marlins against lefty Castano. Great. That was sick. Awesome. What has he done other than that? Literally jack shit, pardon my French. So, JD, how you doing? We need more consistent bats in this lineup. We can't be relying on not just having 1 guaranteed out of the catching position every day, but let alone having a guaranteed out of the DH position. So we got Vogelback. They're going to get a Mancini. They're going to get a Contreras. They're going to get maybe another bat as well, along with 1 of the 2. I don't expect them to land both Mancini and Contreras. However, big moves for the Mets are coming. And JD Davis, I will gladly pack your bags myself. Wherever you got to go, I will literally buy the flight ticket for you. Whatever we got to do. No disrespect, JD, but there's a reason why you should not have been on this roster hanging this season, and the fact that you were was beyond me. So, sorry, nothing personal, but we got to get those rants out there. Now, we look down further. Luis Gourmet 0 for 1 with the pinch hit. Then Tomasino 1 for 2. Shout out to Tomas, got a base knock tonight. We'll take that to the bank. And had that drill out that we saw there to get Rizzo out on the double steal attempt later in this one. And himself a walk. Tomasino, you earn your keep for another day. You live another day, I should say. So, Mets fans, how we feeling? Electric dub. 6-3 over these damn Yanks. We will take it. The Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. Or Yankees, however you want to say it. You know, I don't say Yankees. I know if you have an accent, you normally do. I'm just doing my best kind of Ortiz impression right now. Shout out the Hall of Famer. But guys, let's get in those donations. We'll be doing that in a minute. To my roughly 700 viewers, guys, I want to get some hype in the chat as well. Let's get 1 more spam of the W's. Be greatly appreciated. Then from there, I'm going to start to answer donations, all that fun stuff. For people on replay, however, this is where I'm going to cut things off as long as it cuts off in time because YouTube processing takes forever. The only reason why I cut off is because I know that not everyone wants to watch at minimum an hour post-game show on replay. But for people in the live chat, let's get those W's in the chat. Continue to spam them. Let's get to those donos here in a second. People on replay, before I cut off, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. After a massive Mets dub like this, 6-3 is your final against the Yanks. They look for the series dub tomorrow. With that being in Mad Max Scherzer matching up against who? Domingo Germán? Come on. For obvious reasons outside of baseball, can we please beat up on this guy the way that he unfortunately has done the same elsewhere? Hint, I'm not going to go any further, but you know what I'm talking about. The fact that this bum is still in the league is beyond me. Mets need to beat up on this guy as it should. So we'll see what happens. I'll be in attendance. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below after this 6-3 win. Let's get those comments. But again, for people on replay, this is where we're cutting things off.